Good morning. Welcome to another ride along. So I don't have any plans for this trip. Let's just see how the trip goes, and maybe some of the time we'll be driving without me speaking, and some of the time I might say something. Who knows? So enjoy the trip. I hope this spot here is nice for you. Now, I will not be able to tell whether the camera, well, yeah, usually the camera tells me when the battery is low or shutting off. All right, so now let me set. So I put moisture by exhaling on the suction cup. That way it sticks more securely on the windshield. Sometimes it falls off, this GPS falls off. So I set my GPS. We're off. Put the sunshades a little. So you are in the passenger side. Of the front seats, and I am in the driver's side. In the United States, we drive on the right side, and the driver is seated on the left side of the car or the vehicle. I had the GoPro Hero10 Black, the camera that's recording right now that you were seeing from. I had it set to battery saver, so right now it's recording standard quality video. So it's not a high resolution as it can at the highest. It's not the highest resolution that it can be. So I hope this is clear enough. This video quality. My last video I tried recording with the almost one of the highest quality. I think it was cinematic and some high HD, high definition. I can't remember exactly. One day I will read that manual and be able to tell what's the best for the situation, because on a long recording I probably don't need to record on such a high definition. And then if I'm, say, at the beach, in the water, or doing a project, I may want the highest definition possible. And then the lighting is also something I need to take into consideration. So it's a Monday morning. I think I left around 9:15 few minutes ago, like 9:17 a.m. The GPS indicates that I should be arriving around at my destination around 11:25 a.m., which is never really the case due to traffic and traffic lights, traffic conditions, traffic congestion, traffic jams. I think it's around 89 or 84, somewhere around there, miles away. Sometimes the GPS, well, when I checked on the computer,
In 1/2 mile, turn right on 5th Avenue.
the computer says my destination is 100 miles away. You know what? Let me set my mile gauge, my odometer, and see the miles. It's still going to be an estimate because I already drove about 1.5 miles. So we'll see the distance to my destination is.
Turn right on 5th Avenue.
I'm from the island of Trinidad and Tobago, the main island, Trinidad, and if you hear an accent, that's
on US 192.
the reason. We speak a dialect, a form of broken English. We don't pronounce the TH very as expected. So I get a little tongue twisted trying to speak here, speak the language the way it's spoken here. I came to the United States when I was 13 years old. Well, I came to the United States at the age of 13 years. That's the proper way of saying it. So everybody in every country can understand. This vehicle in front is a Brinks, which is a armored vehicle. They carry valuable items from companies and banks. It's like a tank on wheels. There's a bump I try to avoid. Oh, don't need the sunshade anymore. Start working out. I have not worked out consistently. Once in a while I decide, okay, I'm going to the beach and I'm gonna run. Sometimes I push myself too hard, and sometimes I take my time and jog, not go all out. Well, my sunburn is healing nicely. Still have some more healing to do. I was out in the yard trying to pour water on grass seeds, trying to see if I'm experimenting to see how well the lawn will respond to the seeds that I sprinkled on the front yard. It's not really a lawn, it's really sand. I live on sand berms. If you see neighbors with lawns, it's because they have the lawns installed from companies that ship out I'm trying to use natural methods, easy, simple. It's like Florida friendly, not really Florida native. Florida native means you only are going to plant Florida original plants from Florida, and abide by guidelines like that. But for Florida friendly means you can plant plants that may not be from Florida, but it's habitats for the wildlife, and it's good for the environment. Really, when humans habitate space, we chop down everything. So I just want to make the place recover with greenery, or plants, really, not just greenery, with foliage and nature. I want to see birds. I want to see insects. Flowers. Right now there's a wonderful sunflower. It's doing so well. Makes me feel happy. My wife enjoys them too. She actually said if we could save that sunflower. It was drying out in the sandy soil in the heat, so I transplanted it for her, and then it just grew significantly, and now it's big, and it's having 2 more flowers or buds, and there is another stem that was next to it, and that was also already flowering, and then it's now in a somewhat dormant stage. I don't know, but the flower closed up, and maybe it's making sunflower seeds. And I hope animals and birds eat the sunflower seeds. I don't think I want to eat the seeds. I want nature to have the seeds, and maybe the seeds would fall off and grow again. I think that would be cool. So in my backyard, I have I'm trying to I think a piece of hair, I breathed in a piece of hair. I just took it out of my mouth. In my backyard, I'm trying to see if I can plant more trees, make it look like a forest, like a secret garden, a place to relax, and it's shady and cool. As long as I'm out of the sunlight, that I can just relax. If I'm in the sun is like intense here. I was sunburned quite a bit. I've been sunburned before, but it was painful. But this time when I was sunburned, the skin just peeled off. It did not hurt. So that's good. It didn't hurt. when I was a child in Trinidad, the children, we were pretty much barefooted, and we ran in the woods. We had forest around us. The trees were very, very tall, and there was a lot of nature and fruits, all sorts of fruits. There's guava, mangoes, different types of mangoes, blueberries, pomerac. I don't think United States has this fruit because it's very fragile and wouldn't survive a long journey. So there was pomerac, and then my parents did a little gardening. They planted peas, corn, sugarcane, pepper, something called Corylli. I don't know if the United States has that. I planted that as a child too. I even planted beans, like red beans, and the plant started growing. We had cashew trees. So my experience as a child was outside, having games, fun outside. So we did not have video games. So I only started playing video games like once in a while when I came to the United States, and I was in high school, playing at the arcades. So that was fun. That was before the internet was available for almost everyone today. It was different. So there was telephone in Trinidad, but we had the telephone just before we came to the United States. And we had black and white television. We did not have color TV. And we only had about 2 or 3 channels, and they weren't really very much to watch. There was not very much to watch. So there was cartoons at Saturday mornings and stuff. I think we saw a lot of the cartoons that children see today. Well, may see today. I don't know if they still. But we watched Disney, like Donald Duck and Pluto. We watched Sesame Street, and documentaries like zoos showing animals. When I came to the United States, we watched DuckTales. I love that show. DuckTales. With Uncle Scrooge and Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Launchpad. I think they called one the pilot Launchpad. He always crashed the plane. He could never land the plane, I think. And I watched Rescue Heroes with some chipmunks, I think. And then Darkwing Duck. And then as soon as the Warner Brothers cartoons came out, it was so intense. like those cartoons. But I did watch a lot of Bart Simpson, and Bart Simpson, I believe, is still showing it, if I'm not mistaken. And mostly, Trinidad at that time would get movies and shows at least 10 years after the United States had already made it public to U.S. citizens or U.S. residents. So we will be watching shows 10 years from the past. So, like, for instance, my parents were wearing bell-bottoms pants. You know the pants that are kind of snug at the legs, but they fan out at the bottom. And my father had an afro. He had an afro, and so they were dressed like the 70s when the time was the 80s. And I watched 80s shows. So when I came to the United States, I pretty much was like an 80s person. Until the internet, now everything is sinking, I think, where fashion is more immediate. So I'm headed to school, and I think I'm coming towards the ending of the semester. I have a project demonstration on Wednesday. I'm meeting my team today. We're working together on this project. It's not just one individual team project. It's like each one of us has our project that we help each other with. So we all have to demonstrate our individual mobile robot. And so I'm meeting with my team, and Wednesday we have to demonstrate that. I also have a homework assignment. I have to read 5 references and write a report and submit it Wednesday also. So I'm pretty feeling like an initiative to do it, so I have to really focus on that. And I'm not really feeling any stress though, because I've found that doing the work when I'm not stressed or feeling pressured actually helps me to do a much better job. So, you know, I can push myself, but I don't feel it's necessary. So I have maybe 2 more weeks of school. I think my last class I don't have to attend. I think it's a submission of a presentation for the project, a report for the project, and that's basically it. So now this is the highway interstate I-95. That's I-95 interstate 95. So if you take a left, you go south, and if you take a right, you go north, all the way up to New York, and south all the way down to Miami. Started to feel chilly in here, but maybe I should leave the AC going because the camera probably needs cool air. It's up against the headrest of the seat, so hopefully it's getting enough air circulation to cool off. And I think the camera would beep when it's shutting down, so right now I believe it's recording. camera fell over. I have to fix it. I have to find a more secure way to secure the camera to the seat. I wonder the length of time the camera has been tilted. Like in my last video, the camera flipped upside down, and as I was watching the video, I was watching the video, the scenery looked surreal when the car was upside down. It looked like the scenery looked like surreal. I can't. Maybe you should look at the previous ride along video. It was coming towards the last fifth of the video. I'm not exactly sure, and the camera was upside down, and you could see the sky on the bottom and the grass on the top. At 70 miles per hour. This GPS also has a speedometer, so I don't know if you can see that, but I am feeling chilly. Oh, I can tell the lights flashing in the front, so I can see it's still recording. Okay, that's cool. So I'm getting familiar and used to the camera. I'm looking forward to, I'm very excited to use the camera in the water. I've never done that. I'm thinking about using my snorkel and fins and going in the water. But I'm a little anxious when I get a little farther away, because I'm not a strong swimmer yet. I need to practice. You know, if you don't practice, you lose your abilities. So my endurance is not the best right now. So I really think I should get in shape, because that's the wild. That water can be intense. But I did go in when the waves were like huge. But I did not post that video, those videos. My wife recorded me in the water, and the water was going up, high, and down, and my head was bobbing on there. So, and then I believe Saturday we walked to the beach, and we sat down on a log, and when I looked out, there was like a huge dorsal fin. I know that there are dolphins around, but you know, it's the wild ocean, you know. So if or when I go, I want to be in very good shape. I want to have confidence that I can hold my breath, swim, have some kind of endurance. One for duration and one for sprinting. Oh, I forgot my bottled water. That's the one thing I forgot. I remember, and if I don't do it right away, I forget. So I forgot to bring my bottled water. When I talk, I usually like to drink water. Right now we have 37 miles to go before we make a left turn. moving from east to west. So the latitude is pretty much the same. The temperature is approximately the same. The weather is almost the same. I live in mid-Florida. I think the zone is zone 9 for planting. So the climate is zone 9, I think, or 9B. I can't remember now. But mid-Florida, so we do get cool temperatures during the winter, and then the temperature warms up for the summer. One day I'll just have the camera record without any talking, and then I think that would actually be an easy way to fall asleep. I watch yard work videos to fall asleep. so people use their lawnmowers and they flip the yard from overgrown shrubs and tall grass and trees, and it relaxes me, and it's also satisfying to see the work, the changeovers. And a lot of people actually watch those, and sometimes I watch rain. Videos of rain falling. That helps me to fall asleep too. And sometimes I watch hiking and camping shows that help me fall asleep. And then once in a while, I just fall asleep on anything. But right now, I'm watching a lot of those grass cutting, flipping yards. I think I became interested a lot in that when I started flipping my yard. My yard, the fence was overgrown with some pepper trees. The trees warped the fence and broke the links. I used a hatchet to cut the trees down, and I used a shovel to dig the roots out. And I did not get every single root, but I removed the major roots. So some of the roots that remain have pepper plants that want to grow, but I catch them just in time. I remove them with the shovel. They grow so well in sandy soil. There are some turkeys. Sometimes I see deers. So I think the deers jump over those cattle barbed wire to get on the other side, and the turkeys simply fly over. I haven't seen any raccoons on this road, but I know that there are raccoons. I hear a lot about bobcats. I've actually seen a recording of a bobcat. Only real first-hand sighting recorded from a person who wants to keep it a secret, so I wouldn't share that information. And then I've seen alligators. I've seen flamingos, pelicans. I think on our way here today there was a pelican sighting. I'm not sure. I think we saw one, but I just did not say anything. camera has good features, because I was listening to the sound recording and the sound quality was good, very good. The video scenery capture was good, or very good. The only problem was just the overheating and the battery life. So before my class starts, I'll be there. I have to write some code, make some changes to my programming for the robot. Then I'll work with my team. When I get home, my plan is to work on that homework paper that's due, and then tomorrow spend a lot of time with improving the robot, and also try to get some time to finish the paper. If I'm done with those two things by tomorrow, I'm set for Wednesday. Then I simply have to write the report, and I already started the template for the report. I already started filling in information, and then after the report, I'm gonna create the PowerPoint, coordinate with my team. I believe we each have to have some type of input on the PowerPoint, like we record our speeches on the PowerPoint and submit that. And then I think that's the end of this semester. But right now it feels like I'm in a race, like a marathon, not really a sprint. I have to pace myself and get the work done. I have to slow down. This car's indicating that he wants to get on the left lane. No, he's four ways, has it? Okay. Alright. So this car is a 2005 Ford Focus ZX4 model. It's a special edition. It came with keypad, door, entry, security system, subwoofers, and it's automatic. Well, yeah, automatic transmission, power windows, cruise control. Did break down a number of times in the past. Excuse me. I had to have the I don't know if it's the struts somewhere in the axles. Had to have that changed out recently. Otherwise the car would vibrate when I reach a high speed. The harness or the wiring cables needed to be changed out at least 3 times. I see the camera is kind of tilting. Wrap this tight. Yeah. The battery terminal, changed the connectors. The battery's been changed a number of times. The tires have been changed a number of times. I haven't really been taking care of the paint job. I noticed I'm hitting a lot of bugs. Refilled the windshield washer fluid. have a standby waiting because right now it wants to break off a little. It's been almost a year now since it's been like that, so it's actually a good. I just put some duct tape. The duct tape's wearing off. I had the muffler pipe to the engine changed out. I had the I don't know what I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know the terms, but the mount gasket with where the spark plugs go, I had that changed out. I had sealant placed into the AC, even though it's not recommended, to keep the AC from working longer without losing Freon. Someone broke my window once to get to inside my car in New York. I had that changed out. I think it was that one, that window. It screeched for a while until it stopped screeching. I think when they replaced it, something made the window screech. I changed out the fan that goes under there for the AC. I changed that out maybe 2 times. The circuits get corroded. So I have been maintaining this car. It's been expensive. I could have probably bought another car with the amount of maintenance funds I've put into it. So I tell my wife, this is a brand new car, it just looks old. If it gets a paint job, then to me it's a brand new car. There's only some wear on the because I don't really put sun protection and I don't really wax my car, so there's rust, but I'm not going to try to clean the rust off. One day I'll probably try to sand off the rust, tape up the windows and mirrors, and spray paint myself. I have spray paint. I'll paint the car myself, white, ultra white, and gloss. I changed out the headlights a number of times. I had some high beams, not high beams, but very efficient bright lights, but they burnt out in like 4 months, so with little use. So I bought the cheapest that lasted the longest, like a few years. So I replaced the headlights and the indicator light on the right side. I should have recorded a video because I had to reach in with my hand to get to it. You can't reach from underneath, it's sealed off. So the videos I watched on YouTube did not have I made repair for that, but I did it. I should have made a video for that one. This side is like I can't reach it. If it does go, it's a left turn signal on this side. If it goes, I may have to have a mechanic fix it. The antenna is rusting away. Oh, we don't need this. I was blocking the scenery. I should have put that up a long time ago. Well, so far, we've been traveling for about from 9:15 to about 45 minutes, and the camera is still recording. The AC is cool in here, so right now the battery saver has prolonged the recording time of the camera, so that's very nice. The only thing is it's not the best definition. I would like to have the best, highest definition possible. So this traffic light does not really give me very much time to slow down if I'm going at the maximum I can. So I have to watch out for this one. I've driven it so many times that I know this light. So I slowed down, now it's coming up to speeding up time. driving was performed in 2022, before the automatic driving was predominant. Right now there's the Tesla, but I see a lot of Teslas, but there are always drivers sitting at the driver's seat, and they seem to be driving. I don't think I've seen an automatic driving with the driver like this making turns. I've never seen that. So maybe in the future, I don't know the time in the future, but maybe in the future this will be old-timey, an old-time way of driving. I used to drive without GPS in the past, and I would have road maps. I would flip it open and look at the map and look at the names of the streets and the roads and the highways, see my turns, make my turns, and get to my destination that way. That was the way I did it in the past. That was up until 2001. I used to do that. Maybe even up until 2005. And then I started using GPS. And now I just find comfort in using GPS. So I know that there are GPS satellites out in space. They orbit the Earth, and I believe they send a signal out, and the GPS picks up the signals and triangulates its location off of the signals. And oh, did you know that because the satellites are moving at such a speed, I believe like 15,000 miles and up per hour, 15,000 miles per hour and up, maybe even 25,000 miles per hour. I don't know. I have not really done much research on that. So the clocks on the satellites have to be adjusted for time. So time is different the farther away you move from mass, and depending on the speed you travel. So the clocks have to be calibrated for communication with technology on Earth. Did you know that? So that's proof that time is relative. So I think that's so fascinating. I don't know if you knew this before. So that's fascinating. So a lot of people don't really consider these things, but I find myself contemplating on those physics of existence. Slowing down. I just tried to stay at most 10 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour above the speed limit. In my experience, I've never been pulled over for speeding when I've been traveling at 10 miles per hour above. I've been pulled over for my headlights. Not this vehicle. It was the plate light. One light was out, and I had a fix-it ticket. Here, not recently. Then my car broke down, so I had to use my wife's car. The repair serviceman did not plug back the headlight back in for the left headlight, so I was pulled over for that. I eventually I found out was I simply had to plug it back in. So I changed out my lights myself for this car and for my wife's car. I changed out the light in the trunk too. I used to carry my tools, but I left my tools at home. It's good to have tools handy just in case I need to fix something. A quick fix, not really a major fix. Something that I can do myself easily. So I have to remember to bring that in my car. I know in this video I seem to have a lot of topics I can talk about, but I'm usually a quiet, unspoken, silent person. But I think I'm sharing my thoughts. That I am a unique individual. I think I've used profanity maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. I just never found the need to use the F and the S word, you know? I just never felt or came to need to use that language. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol. I just don't find enjoyment in that. I tried it. Don't like it. Don't like the feeling. Don't like the buzz. Don't like the confusion. Don't like the woozy. I guess I don't need to forget anything. I think people say they forget things when they drink or feel better. But alcohol is actually a depressant. It doesn't really kill you, but it probably gives a temporary feeling. I don't know. Smoking, I don't know. I just don't think it's good. I don't like it. So, but I do have a weakness. I drink a lot of sugary drinks. Oh, I forgot to pack my soda. Anyway, before I started packing the soda, I usually was like this. No water, no soda, no drinks. So I guess today is gonna be one of those days. I'll just drink some water when I get to school. Survive. My father used to smoke, I don't know, maybe when I was 8, 7, really young, maybe even 5. I can't really remember that. So he actually let me try it once because I really was adamant about wanting to try it when he was smoking. He let me try it and I coughed so much that I never wanted to try again. And then I used to play around with cardboard and roll it up and light it when I was a little child and smoke it just for fun, but I never liked it that much. Oh, actually I didn't like it. So I used to chew gum, but I don't really feel like chewing gum. Since I haven't chewed so long, if I do, it might hurt my jaws. If there's vegan gum, I might chew it once in a while, maybe, I don't know. So everything I eat is vegan. So I don't drink anything that has sugar that's not organic. I have to get, if I do drink drink, it has to have organic sugar because sugar in the United States is processed with bone char. So they burn the bone into char and they process the sugar that way. So I do drink soda with, or fizzy drinks you call it, with corn syrup. Now, I am not a healthy vegan. I don't really have a sweet tooth, but I do drink a lot of soda. But once the bubbles are gone, I don't like it. It's just too sweet. I do eat vegan chocolate, vegan cakes, but not too many of them. I can only eat so much sweet for one time, then I don't want it. I eat sometimes some salty foods. Now, if everybody or at least half the population were vegan, then I would not need to mention the word vegan. It would just be normal. But I think you hear vegans say that they're vegan a lot because it's just a topic that nobody addresses. Like, you don't know that you're offering me something that I can't eat. Like when I go places, I get offered a lot of things. Like when I was teaching, and we had when the principal had food, I was not able to eat the food because the food was not vegan. So it's just that people don't know that there are certain things that vegans, the meaning of vegan is having compassion and empathy and feeling and considerations for other life forms. We don't subjugate, we don't that's a Tesla. We don't take advantage, hurt, benefit off the suffering of other creatures. So everybody, there are different limits of veganisms. If you want to go to the ultimate, then there's fruitarian. I did try being a fruitarian once, but I was not satisfied at all eating the food. I was always hungry, more hungry than the way I feel. Like, you eat fruits. I even tried cooking down the fruits to make solids to feel satisfied. Maybe in the future there would be more initiative to create food that can be more substantial rather than just be like fruits are very water based, so it's not very much in feeling full. So much effort. So if you want to be the ultimate vegan, then that's the fruitarian. So some vegans don't eat at establishments that prepare meat products, even though they may have vegan prepared food where it's not contaminated. So there are some vegans who see that as not an option. Then there are plant-based where the diet is solely vegan. However, you wear leather items like boots and shoes and belts. So you basically just eat the meals that are vegan, but you live a lifestyle that does not preclude you or have you avoid meat products or materials. I am a tolerant vegan because if I were not, I would live my life feeling upset so much, because I have family that eat meat. They use the same kitchen utensils. I wash the utensils and use it. So that's why when I see a product that says may contain milk, it's because the product is produced in a factory that produces dairy. But they do wash the instruments. They do wash it. So there are some times where if I eat something and I see that the package says may contain milk or dairy, it's because they try to wash it, but they just want to let you know that in case you have allergy, because I know there are lactose intolerant people, even people with peanut allergies. That's why you see a packaging says contains nuts, or may contain nuts, or produced in a factory that contain manufactured nuts, nut items with nut ingredients. So you have to be tolerant, and you have to find your limits. I know I live to the best of my ability, so that's the reason I will once in a while, not often, very once in a while, because I don't like to, I like to cook my own, prepare my own foods if I can, or just get vegan items like vegan soups rather than go to places that prepare the items, because people who are not vegan don't have the concept of not touching something that maybe cut cheese and then go cut the vegetables. They don't have that concept. So unless they adamantly know that they reassure me that that's the way they do it, so then I have more confidence. But I do live in a society where I have to be tolerant, so that's my compromise. So I was issued military boots made out of hides. They're leather, but I will not throw them out. I will wear it because it's my boots that were issued when I used to eat meat. So I'm not going to just throw it out and waste the boots. I have boots from the military that I were issued them since 2005, and they're still going. They're still usable, so I will not toss them out. So I have a compromise limit too. So you see, there's a range of veganism. There's people who try maybe for a day of eating vegan, then or a month or a year. So I'm very tolerant. I don't just say this is the way, because there are so many vast reasons for
In 1/2 mile, turn left
following
on
your
Neptune
beliefs
Road.
and your convictions, and these are mine. Maybe in the future the food will be different. So there's one constant. Things change. That's a constant, believe it or not. Believe it or not, religion changes. You can look back at any religion and see that the tradition and the belief has changed somewhat, and everything changes, believe it or not. No matter how the level of your conviction, the baseline from that conviction had been different at some point.
Turn left at the traffic light.
So this is the end of the 40-mile one way before the left turn. So this is Neptune Road. So this is the first hour or the first half of the trip, something like that. It's usually
on Neptune Road.
an hour to get to this point. Close. And depending on traffic too. So the next rest of the trip should be about an hour or an hour and a half. I'm just glad that when I go in this direction, there's less traffic, because later on there's more traffic going this way during rush hour. And then when I'm coming back, there's less traffic this way. So the timing works out. Otherwise, this would have been even much more of a hardship for me to travel. I already have to pay such high prices for gas. I wish I had an electric vehicle, but I just don't have it in my budget. Maybe in the future everybody has an electric vehicle. Electric vehicles were invented since the 1920s. It's just that if you see me look back, I keep checking to see if the camera is recording. Now back to the vehicles. Electric vehicles was invented since the 1920s, but because of promotion for gas operated vehicles or petrol or oil products, crude oil, that won out. So that became the major fuel for vehicles. I think the technical benefits or gains from using batteries were not the best. So the technology still is in the works. Maybe I did research and find information about trying to improve battery life for autonomous robots. And I do need to write about some contemporary issues regarding robots. So I do need to write about that. So maybe this would be one thing I can include. The only thing is that I thought that it was not as relevant, but I can make that relevant when regarding autonomous robots or life for robots operation. So right now robots are taking over factories, but technology is also providing more jobs that were not in existence in the past. So they're now computer programmers. In the past, they were not computer programmers, or at this prevalence. So now there are people making their living playing video games, playing chess. There are many alternatives to factory work. But I think the plus side is, well, maybe to others it's not a plus, but the higher level education you have, the more access you have to employment, especially in the future. In the past, an associate degree was, well, actually in the past, a high school, say the 1950s, a high school diploma was all you needed to have a house and a car, maybe even 2 cars, I don't know. But have a house, like you could be a milkman. In those days there was a milkman. He delivered milk in bottles. You put your empty milk bottle out, and the milkman would change out the milk, exchange the empty bottle for the refill bottle. And so a milkman in the old days could have a full life, have children, I don't know, 3 or 4 children, have a house, and retire comfortably. Then a high school diploma was not the best, so then an associate's degree was recommended, and then after that a bachelor's was necessary, and nowadays at least a master's degree or graduate degree is needed for so it's a lot of work, you pay a lot, but in my experience, once you get the job, you're comfortable. You pay you pay the loans, you pay everything. So it's worth the pay. Even if you go to a private school. I went to a private school. The private school was more challenging. I had to get 143 credits for my bachelor's degree, and plus it was more challenging. I had to do physics, calculus. I was one of 2 people graduating out of 3 people in my engineering field, and that opened the door. I was accepted at NYU Tandon School of Engineering. I was one of the 2 who graduated in my field, and I was the one who was accepted. The 2 of us applied, but I was the only one accepted. But I couldn't make it because at 2012, the Congress had a delay in financial aid and student loans and interest. A complex thing to me. I never really looked into it, but I did not get my financial aid, so I had to make a decision. I had to stay as a security guard and do my work. And when I got home, when I was really tired because I had a security position where I had to patrol and stay outside in the cold. So it was winter time, and by the time I got home, I did not really have enough time to do the work. But I'm persistent. I persevered, and now I'm coming towards my last 2 courses after this course. My thesis, 2 thesis courses, thesis 1 and thesis 2. My thesis proposal topic was approved, so I can now enroll once I get to school. Oh, that reminds me, when I get to school, I have to print out a document, fill it out, take it to my professor, and see if we can get it filled out to be able to register for the next semester's thesis course. I almost forgot. I'm glad I had this video to talk so I can remember that. That's very important. So I may not be able to work on the codes. I'll have to use my class time for that. I gave my code to my classmates, my team members actually, and I asked them not to share with the other team because it's a competition. But who knows nowadays, the view, because the other team members, they're all talking to other team members. So the competition idea is not really as significant in this sense. But I did write the entire code and gave it to my team members. And I still need to work on the code to make it better. But I need to get to school and I need to print that out. But I don't know if the library has paper printers anymore. I might have to use my my electronic pen and write on the document electronically and have it filled out electronically, because they said the requirement is to print it out. To print out the document, that's the requirement in the email. So I have to find a way to print that out. If I can't, then I have to resort to writing electronically. My electronic pen is not as accurate as my manual pen. Oh, so far we've been recording for almost over an hour. So this is cool. I like this. So hopefully I can record this entire trip without having to paste, stitch, or connect separate videos. I had to do that with a free software which had a watermark on my previous trip video, my ride-along video. So it has a watermark because I did not pay the $39. I don't think the watermark was that significant. It did not really bother me that much. A little bit, not very much, because it's driving and it's down in the lower level of the dashboard. But I would prefer not to have the watermark. But I did not think paying $39 was something I wanted to do. It's not in my budget. Maybe if I were a rich person, I probably would have done
Turn left on Broadway Avenue.
And the thing is, I did not read the fine print. I did not read very much. I usually, because there's just so much to read when in the agreements, so I probably missed that warning that a watermark would be placed on the video. And I thought the watermark, when I did, so when I came towards the ending of the processing of the videos, the pieces, segments, then I was notified that a watermark would be placed. I wish that notification would have been the same way notified apparently. So I think there was somewhat of a trickery. I was tricked because the same way they notified me so apparently about my video, they could have done it during the installation. So if we get this entire video without it dropping off, if the battery lasts that long, and I would be very happy. So arrival time is 11:24. It's now 10:33. I still need at least one more hour. Well, a little more than 1 hour. Let's see. But I may not stitch this video since I have 1 hour recorded. I think this might be a good enough length to not worry about the camera shutting off. So I might just post this video, upload this video as is. So now I know to set the camera to battery saver, which sets the definition to standard. One time I had a traffic ticket because a bus was in front of me and I went ahead and there was a red light and there was a traffic camera that took the red light, and I tried to have this not charged by going to the courthouse, but the judge did not waive the fee.
In 1 mile,
The
turn
fine.
left on South John Young Parkway.
Some places having a traffic light, like Florida, I get warned on the GPS, and there are signs that warn you traffic enforced lights. But in New York, I don't remember any warnings about traffic lights. New York is so strict. Very strict. I mean, they expect you to be driving perfectly everywhere. So there's no compromise, there's no empathy. Oh, here's people crossing, but I have the green light, so. So I'm glad that I am living in Florida. The only thing is the jobs in New York pay so much better
1/2 mile.
that I can work in New York and still have enough to have another place like the place I'm living, have two places. So that's the reason a lot of people, they call them snowbirds. They work north and they come south during summer. During summer they go north, and then wintertime they come back. Well, a lot of retirees do that. They're just snowbirds. But a lot of people also live up north and they have a residence in Florida too. And they usually rent out their residence, so they get a second income that way. I'm just not financially savvy. I don't
Turn
really.
left at the traffic light.
I should think more financially. There was a time when I would just spend money and give it away, and I didn't even think about it. I think that's part of growing up. Now was just that stage, and now I am in the conservative saving stage. I want to conserve my money, save it, Oh, here are cameras. I see those cameras over there on the post. I did not ever recognize those cameras. Maybe they've just been installed that way. I'm used to the cameras being on the traffic lights area. That's some significant traffic cameras. They must be new because I never noticed them before. This is a 2-lane left turn. Usually people on the inner or this left on my left try to come over into my lane when they make a left turn because they know that eventually this lane, their lane ends. You see? This guy just cut over. You see that?
Continue on South John Young
Because that
Parkway.
lane ends, but that's not the right way. You just cut into this lane and you can cause an accident that way. So I'm aware of that, so I try to watch out for that. But a new driver probably wouldn't know to look for that, or if you're driving here and you just are not aware of it, that the lane merges this way into my lane, then you probably have the same experience. Get frustrated with being, I think they say, cut off by another driver, but having a driver just without using indicators just change lanes in front of me and come into my lane or enter my lane without signaling or indicating or giving enough space or time. I used to get a lot of frustration from that experience, but now I just try to let it go. Sometimes I do get frustrated. I guess it's my mood. Oh, by the way, I have only used my horn maybe once or twice. No, I haven't. I don't think I've ever used my horn except for in the military for safety reasons. When you're backing up, you press the horn to back up. So that's it. I've never used my horn, but for some reason I've seen a Disney show where when people get in cars, they become like speedy. They speed a lot. They honk their horns. They get frustrated. They cut people off. It's like there's no room for patience. I think I may have cut people off accidentally. I'm tolerant of that. Maybe because of that, those experiences, I am tolerant. More tolerant than I used to be. So I know people make mistakes. We're human. Maybe the person, sometimes they just realize they need to get over to a exit at an intersection so they can't afford to not get to the lane, so they have to do it right away. So I guess I have to actually still work on being a little more tolerant. I've never really lost my temper where I'm angry, but I do get upset. I think I'm an easygoing person, soft-spoken. Try to avoid conflicts, try to compromise and work things out. Why fight about something? I don't think fighting really helps anything. I relieve my stress. Usually, sometimes with time, my stress goes, and I'm occupied doing a lot of things that interest me. Or I think about things a lot, and that helps me to lose the frustration. And then I forget about it too. I just simply forget about a lot of things, unless someone reminds me. My wife heard about my GoPro experience from the last video, so she called representatives, and they heard about my not so satisfactory experience. They advised on setting the camera to battery saver mode, and that is now helping me to record a long video. And because my wife told them that she had this for my as a gift for my birthday, they sent a complimentary battery. So now I'm looking forward to having a fully charged battery for even longer durations. So in other words, I will have a battery for one way, a long destination, and then I can change the battery out and have it for another long way destination. The only thing I have to think about now is the memory. So I may need another 64 gigabyte, because I do have a 64 gigabyte SD card in the camera for the memory. I have a number of 32 gigabyte cards that are being used for my security cameras at my house, and I have a number of 16 gigabytes, which the camera really doesn't suggest. I get a reading all the time to about, I can't remember the exact statement about the 60 gigabyte. So I may get another 64 gigabyte. It may be a cheap one, so it may not be the best, but if it can store, I'm looking for long memory. Then I can probably go, I will try to see if I can go jogging on the beach and see if I can record jogs on the beach, so I can keep track and you can see me, well not me, see the scenery as I jog, and I can keep track of my improvement on my endurance and abilities and capabilities. And I'm looking forward to being able to be in such shape that I can swim in the water and move. Oh, there's a car that's like mine, but theirs doesn't have the keypad. So when I swim in the water right now, I barely move. I move, but not efficiently. So if there were I forgot the name when the water pulls you out and you're supposed to swim not against it, but riptide. Sometimes when I don't think about it, the word comes to me. But if I try to think about it, I can't remember. So I started to think about merging here or being distracted, and then the word came to me. So if there were a riptide, I would still be stuck there quite a bit before even getting across. So I am not too confident of a swimmer. maybe I should wear a life jacket. But I really would like to have enough confidence in swimming, paddling, holding my breath. Maybe I should try becoming more efficient with the flippers. Because those dolphins, they're huge, they're humongous. When my wife and I were walking on the other side of the place I live, there's a river. So there's a river and then there's the ocean, and our place is in between. So we saw dolphins that come from the ocean and swim up that river. And these dolphins, they're huge. They're like, you would never believe it. These dolphins were like at least 10 or 15 feet in length. I couldn't believe my eyes. They were everywhere, and the dorsal fins were all humongous. So now there are dolphins, and I don't think dolphins really eat people, but I'm thinking it's the wild. And if I go in the ocean, now I've seen sharks. I have seen sharks in the water, but not where I live. I've seen sharks in other parts of the close, not very close, but about an hour drive away from where I live, the place I live. And I've seen at least 2 sharks swimming side by side. So I saw the dorsal fins, which are I'm almost 100% sure, certain that those were sharks. So I know some like bull sharks and tiger sharks and white sharks or great whites. Those are aggressive shark species, and I know there are other species that would probably just leave you alone, even though they're humongous. And if you mind your own distance and respect nature, nature leaves you alone. But I still want to have the confidence that I can swim like those athletes who swim. I think they actually swim across from Florida to the islands. I think so. If I had some kind of capability where I could swim long term and also sprint, like swim very fast in short durations at least, I would have more confidence. I even think about strapping on a dagger, like some swimmers, they have like harpoons, but not a harpoon, but a dagger, just in case, just for psychological confidence that if I were attacked by some creature in the ocean, I have something to fall back on. I've seen movies where like Deep Blue, I think, where this shark whisperer man, he would have a humongous shark swim to him, and he would be able to maneuver in the water and subdue the shark. Now, that would be amazing if I could even get close to something like that. But there are sharks in that water, and I'm just not confident right now. But I will try to get as confident as I can. And I am also aware that swimming is best with more people. So you have to swim with 2 or more people. You don't want to go swimming alone. You don't want to do water activities like kayaking alone. When you go hiking, best to take they say buddy, take somebody with you. So some recreations and sports activities, it's advisable to take someone with you. Oh, I do like hiking too. Maybe I can go on hikes. That's another one. I can go on hikes. I used to watch hiking videos too. I just still watch some hiking and camping videos. So I can possibly, well, I used to hike in New York. I like the terrain. In Florida, it's really a flat environment. Like when I came to Florida from New York, everything looks so low. In New York, I went to the Bear Mountains area, and you go up mountains, down mountains. So Florida is a flat experience. I think my home is don't know, maybe 8 feet, 4 feet. I don't know. It's between 4 to 8 feet above sea level. One day I have to get some kind of gauge to measure it. I know during hurricanes, a lot of people like to leave their houses in my neighborhood, but I would like to stay. I think my wife is going to have, she takes care of the finances and all of the construction in the house. I do more of the manual side labor. Like the yard work. I took down the trees with my, I didn't use, well, she bought me an electric chainsaw, a small short one, and I purchased electric lawnmower. I'm satisfied with the electric lawnmower. I have not used the electric chainsaw yet though. I have an electric weed whacker. I bought the same interchangeable batteries, so from the same company, the Ryobi lawnmower and the Ryobi RYOBI, I think. Weed eater or weed whacker, or many names for that, so I can change the batteries on. So I do try to use less gas or crude oil, derived from gasoline, from operated equipment. But if I had a budget, I would surely and definitely get fully battery operated vehicle.
In 4.5 miles, turn left on I-4 West.
I think charging a vehicle with solar panel is not prevalent. There are competitions with teams that create solar powered race vehicles, but it simply just takes one person in a really tight space in a race with the solar panels covering almost the entire vehicle. But right now it's not a way of charging vehicles. Like, you don't see solar panels on the vehicles to charge the batteries for traveling. I've seen a van have, or an RV have solar panels for their equipment or instruments. I don't know if it charges their vehicle battery, and I don't think the vehicle was an electrically driven vehicle. Maybe in the future that would be a possibility or in use. It's just that technology still has some way to go, because the sun does provide so much power that if I think I read somewhere that if we, for 1 hour's worth of energy, you can run something for a year, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember that article, but that's a lot of energy that comes from the sun, and it's clean energy too. And once you start driving, there's technology that when you brake, it is the rotation causes an alternator to transfer the mechanical energy back to electrical. But there's no perfect system, so you lose some as heat. So it's not like the world loses out on energy. The energy still goes back out into nature. I know I hear a lot about water conservation, but my view on water conservation is, yes, you use the least amount of water as possible, but I don't have the concept as I'm wasting the water, because the water is not leaving this earth, it's not going somewhere. So I think it's more water conservation rather than wasting water. term was social isolation, distancing, social distancing. I believe it was more physical distancing. It's more like you have to keep your distance physically with somebody. Social distancing means like you don't even go on social media. So I think the term should have been more like physical distancing. So those are my views. So Florida has a no helmet law. So motorcyclists drive around without helmets. I ride my bicycle and I wear a helmet. When I drive in my car, I have to wear a helmet. If I'm in an accident, the seatbelt. I mean, not a helmet, a seatbelt. When I'm in my car, I wear a seatbelt. So why would I go on a motorcycle and not wear a helmet? There's already no way to harness yourself in a motorcycle with a cage. So if you crash, your body is your bumper. It's your frame, your shield. So I hope if I do learn to drive a motorcycle, I am wise enough to wear a fully protected helmet, not just for the top, but also for the chin. I've seen people wear a helmet like it has a football bar on the bottom of the helmet. So if you just want that space, you can have that space, but this bar protects you if your face hits the pavement or the ground. I also don't like to be very hot, so I would probably like the air to be flowing through my long sleeves in my protection, and I would like to wear padding like those racers wear, motorcycle racers wear. It may be hot, but I think when you ride that, you get air circulation to cool you off. The only thing is it's not like AC. So maybe there's an AC system where you have a tube and it cools the liquid and flows in your tube and cools you off. That would be another way. That's cool. I wonder if that exists. I would like to drive a motorcycle one day. I know the term is ride a motorcycle. But I watch Batman movies and he has his motorcycles, and I like sports cars. I like watching sports car videos, music videos with sports cars. So if this camera can hold on for another 30 minutes, I would see you. Even if I arrive, I would like to walk with the camera towards my school. That would be cool also, but I don't know the battery life, so maybe it wouldn't get to that point, but to that event. So my YouTube channel, I post technical works, like my projects I'm working on, and I also post other things I find interesting. Maybe you find some things interesting and not everything. It's understandable, but since I find them all interesting and I try to record everything that's interesting, I put it up on one channel. I don't really want to have separate channels. Like maybe it's advisable to have this one channel for one thing and another channel for another thing, another topic. So I like to just be easygoing, the least consideration, the least restrictive consideration, and just post and have playlists. So you probably want to go to the playlist. Maybe I put the right playlist for the video, and you go to that playlist and look at those videos. So far my subscriptions have been alternating between 76, it went up to 77, and then 78. Now it's back to 77. So it may go down to 76. So it changes. I would like to have a lot of subscribers, but right now I know I don't really post things that the mainstream are interested in. But who knows, you know? So I just do the things that I do. That's easygoing, easy to record on video, in video, and
In 1/2 mile, turn left on I-4 West.
and upload those videos. There was a time I joined YouTube in 2011. There was a point where I was considered a member of YouTube creator, and now I'm just a member because I think I need a certain limit of subscribers and hours of views, and I haven't met that limit. I haven't achieved that limit. So when I did join YouTube, I only had about maybe 3 videos that I thought were important. Like the titles of those videos have light orienting device. That was new technology that I created, and I received an award by NYU-10, the School of Engineering, for that creativity, that innovation.
Turn left at the traffic light.
Using infrared transmitter and receiver in a way that it was not intended to be used before. And so I felt like I wanted to share with the world, because I know solar panels can benefit from that technology. Even though they still use photovoltaic photocells as the sensors, they haven't resorted to my method. I had one viewer at request using that technology, and I said go ahead. So I felt uploading those videos of that technology was important. Oh, and I also had some other following videos, so maybe 5 videos with me presenting a lesson on circuits. So that was basically it from 2011 and 2012 until 2021 or 2020, somewhere around there. Then I started posting, and then viewers see there's the traffic I was talking about. On my way to school, the traffic is that way. And then when I'm going home, the traffic is this way. So I'm just lucky that the traffic is in my benefit. When I was teaching, I would leave teaching and try to drive, and that time the traffic is going this way. So I would try my best, and I would be speeding. And I would try my best. I would take the toll roads. The toll roads, you're really fast. You're very fast. And I would speed with the traffic. I would go with the traffic, and they were very fast. And then I would come to I-4 here, and there was such traffic that I would reach at least 30 minutes later than the class started. But then I found out the registrar told me that course was not going to be applied towards my degree unless I change from pursuing a thesis to pursuing a project for my graduate degree. So I wanted to pursue a thesis, so I found it easy to drop the course or withdraw. So I did that. So that helped me out. faster, and the traffic is actually in my favor. The only thing is though, if I leave my class at the expected 2:50 p.m., I would meet up traffic jams. So I usually leave my class earlier than the set class time. Well, really, graduate students are not expected to be in class. I'm lucky for that. So I can, as long as I produce the work, that's acceptable. When I went to NYU10 in School of Engineering, I was not able, the policy was not attendance, so no attendance was given, as long as you produce the work. But the classes were usually packed anyway because the professors gave lectures, and those lectures were very insightful. So I don't want to miss meeting with my team, my group, even though there's teams, we can do video meetings. For some reason, my team, my class is, this class I'm in has a mixture of undergraduate students who are taking some graduate level courses. So they're in my class and they expect me to be in the team. I have team members who work better with the personal interaction. But as you move on and you become a graduate student, you find that you don't necessarily need to be in that face-to-face environment. As long as you message, stay in communication, timely communication, you can use those teams or those virtual team meetings with video conferencing, like Microsoft Teams and Zoom calls, Zoom meetings. So the speed limit here is 70, so I'm going to go to 75 just to catch up for some time. I know I use more gas when I go faster. Did you know that? When you use more gas, when you go faster, you use more gas. Believe that. A lot of people don't realize that. And then some people just don't have patience, so they just speed. I try to compromise again. I compromise. I have my tolerance, my range. Boy, I'm getting thirsty talking and not drinking the water. When I'm leaving or going somewhere, that's the time I'm going to forget something. I tell my team members too, if I took something out and they borrowed it, my equipment or materials, please remind me to take my materials and equipment before I leave, because I may forget it. And I will not be able to come back for it because I'm traveling 2.5 hours away. I pay about $32 in gas for a round trip, I believe. So each day of traveling to my school